за окном пашет. Где он? Видишь? Видишь? Ебал?
In violation of the Russian-American agreements to cease strikes at energy facilities for 30 days from March 18 this year, the Kiev regime continues its daily unilateral attacks against the Russian energy infrastructure. Over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian armed forces have attacked Russian energy facilities 11 times. In the Lugansk People's Republic, on April 9 at 3:22, a Ukrainian UAV damaged wires and disabled a 500 kV high-voltage line of Novodonbaskia, Pobeda of the Donbas enterprise of Main Electric Networks, Rossetti branch. The Stakhanov ferroalloy plant industrial enterprise was left without power. On April 9 at 10:48, as a result of an attack by a Ukrainian UAV against the Antratsit electrical substation of the Donbas enterprise of Main Electric Networks, Rossetti branch, a 110 kV high-voltage line was disabled. In the Donetsk People's Republic, on April 9 at 17:45, a Ukrainian UAV dropped munitions on a facility of the Rossetti branch in Gorlovka, in Zaporozhye region. On April 9 at 9 o'clock, a UAV damaged overhead wires and disabled a high-voltage line of the Tavria State Unitary Enterprise. A small boiler house was left without any power supplying. In Kherson region, On April 9th at 1855, as a result of an attack by a Ukrainian UAV against the Bekhteri power substation, Kursk branch, transformers were damaged. About 5,000 household consumers were left without power in 6 settlements of Golopristinsky district. In Kursk region. On April 9th, at 8:45, a fire attack of the AFU damaged overhead wires and disabled a 10 kV high-voltage line of the Kursk-Energo, Rosseti Center's branch. More than 600 household consumers were left without power in Bolsha-Soldatsky district. In Bryansk region. On April 9th at 18:15, a Ukrainian UAV hit the Strachivo power plant of the Bryansk-Energo, Rosseti Center's branch, damaged the hull causing a shutdown of a complete transformer substation. On April 9th at 18:51, a Ukrainian UAV hit the Svetovo power plant of the Bryansk-Energo, Rosseti Center's branch, damaged the hull causing a shutdown of a complete transformer substation. Household consumers were cut off electricity in Sevsky district. In Belgorod region. On April 9th at 14:01, as a result of an attack by a Ukrainian UAV in Shebekino on Veselaya Street, a low-pressure distribution above-ground steel gas line of the Gazprom Gazraspределение Belgorod JSC was damaged. On April 10th at 5:29, a Ukrainian UAV dropped munitions on the Graveron 110 kV power substation of the Belgorod Energo, Rosseti Center's branch. In Krasnodar region. On April 9th at 0:43, a Ukrainian UAV damaged a cable and disabled the 110 kV Varenikovskaya, Dzhizhinskaya high-voltage line, Rosseti, Kuban. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the operation to neutralize AFU formations on the territory of Kursk region. During offensive actions, units of the Sever Group of Forces liberated Zurovka, Sumy region. Moreover, strikes were delivered at formations of 1 mechanized brigade, 1 tank brigade, 3 air assault brigades, and 1 territorial defense brigade of the AFU close to Gornal and Oleshnya. Operational tactical, army aviation, and artillery fire hit enemy manpower and hardware close to Belovadi, Verakino, Vladimirovka, Vodology, Zurovka, Lokhnya, Mariino, Miropoli, Magritsa, Sadki, and Unikovka in Sumy region. The AFU losses were more than 420 troops, 1 armored personnel carrier, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 12 motor vehicles, 4 artillery guns, 4 mortars, and 2 UAV command posts. Since the beginning of hostilities in Kursk direction, the AFU losses amounted to more than 73,410 troops, 405 tanks, 331 infantry fighting vehicles, 301 armored personnel carriers, 2,262 armored fighting vehicles, 2,664 motor vehicles, 601 artillery guns, 53 MLRS launchers, including 13 of HIMARS and 7 of MLRS made by the USA, 26 anti-aircraft missile launchers, 1 self-propelled anti-aircraft system, 10 transport loading vehicles, 123 EW stations, 18 counter-battery warfare radars, 10 air defense radars, 56 units of engineering and other material, including 23 counter-obstacle vehicles, 1 UR-77 mine-clearing vehicle, 5 bridge launchers, 1 engineering reconnaissance vehicle as well as 15 armored recovery vehicles, and 1 command post vehicle. By Russian Defense Ministry on progress of special military. Units of the Vostok Group of Forces continued advancing into the depth of enemy defense. Russian forces hit manpower and material of 2 mechanized brigades, an airmobile brigade, and a territorial defense brigade near Chervenaya Zerka, Komar, Volnoy Pol, and Berlitskoy, Donetsk People's Republic. The AFU lost up to 165 troops, 3 motor vehicles, 3 artillery guns, and an electronic warfare station. The Dnieper Group of Forces engaged formations of a mechanized brigade, a coastal defense brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade near Pavlovka, Novodanilovka, Zaporozhye region, and Sadavoy, Kherson region. Up to 90 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 9 motor vehicles, 3 electronic warfare stations, and an ammunition depot have been neutralized. Operational tactical aviation, attack UAVs, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian groups of forces have engaged the depots for missile and artillery weapons, the workshop for manufacturing unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as clusters of AFU manpower and hardware, and foreign mercenaries in 149 areas.